What is up, guys, and welcome to the ASMR Championship. I mean, F1 2018 Career Mode Championship. It's 4 AM, actually 3 AM in my house right now. This is the fourth video of the day, so I'm going to try and keep levels down a little bit so that my neighbours don't kill me. This is episode number 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Welcome. Thank you so much for the support you guys have been showing so far. It's been absolutely incredible. So without further ado, let's get stuck into episode 2, Friday practice of F1 2018 Career Mode. Let's go.
Welcome to the deserts of Bahrain, where the Formula One circus has rolled into town. We're expecting the cars to appear out on track shortly to start today's practice session.
So it's probably just worth noting, if you haven't seen episode 1, I recommend you go back, check it out. I'll leave a link down in the description so you guys can see it, but basically just an introduction to the career mode. We got our first race underway. It was pretty successful in the end. I don't want to spoil it, but we definitely moved forward in the race as opposed to where we started from qualifying. But here we are for the Bahrain Grand Prix, just running through some of the Friday practice programs. It's worth noting that so far in this career mode series, I've really been struggling in Friday practice and just trying to pass the practice programs in general. This is a problem I had last year in F1 2017, but I feel like this is even worse this year. I'm not too sure why. When it comes to these practice programs, I feel like I have to put in an absolutely amazing lap, like qualifying style laps, just to beat tyre wear tests or fuel consumption tests. It's weird. Like, you shouldn't feel like you have to push this much in order to beat just the target time, but that's the situation I find myself in, which is a little bit frustrating, just using rich everywhere and hot lap mode and ERS. It shouldn't be like that in practice, so hopefully that can be rectified for the full version of the game. But in terms of upgrades now, we're going to do a front downforce upgrade. And when it comes to Sauber, it just so happens that the first line of upgrades for your aerodynamics are actually major ones. So these ones are going to take 3 weeks to go on the car, and that'll be on for Spain, hopefully. So fingers crossed that upgrade doesn't fail, because we really need that. The pace at the moment seems to be really quite bad, even worse so than what it was in Australia. So we got very lucky, not going to lie, scoring points in the first race. I don't know if that's going to be possible in this one. The natural pace just doesn't quite seem to be there, and we may be forced onto a two-stop, because from what I remember, F1 games seem to be quite harsh on the tyre wear around this circuit. But we'll wait and see. We're carrying on now with another couple of practice programs. You can see this one is the qualifying pace. We lost like 3/10 in the first couple of corners, and you'll notice I'm not driving bad. I'm hitting apexes, flowing the car quite nicely, running wide a little bit, and just suffering in general with maybe a little bit of understeer. But what I can tell you is I'm actually losing a lot of my time in just a straight line. I'm running in rich revs, hot lap mode is engaged, and I'm running with like 1.7 wings, which is a fairly low downforce level, but we still lose time on the straights and in the corners, obviously. So it's quite puzzling. We ended up 2 seconds off the pace there in that qualifying pace program, which is just unacceptable. How you can be that slow versus a qualifying pace target and still feel like you drove a good lap. So there definitely needs to be some tweaking, whether it be to the grip levels in practice or just lowering of the target time in these practice sessions, because at the moment they're just absolutely ridiculous. In qualifying and the race, it's not so bad. Like, I feel like qualifying and the race is easier than doing the practice programs and beating those. Quite weird, but that's how it is at the moment with F1 2018. So with all that complaining out of the way, it's just bringing up what I'm thinking at the moment, but that's just the issues I'm dealing with at the moment on 110 AI in one of the slower cars. But yeah, that's practice. Time for qualifying now, where hopefully this time we can beat our teammate Charles Leclerc and maybe, just maybe, get out of Q1.
The cars are ready, the drivers are ready. We hope you're ready, as qualifying is about to begin here in Bahrain.
Okay, we know it's going to be a struggle to get out of this session, but give it your best shot.
Alright, so let's see what we can do. Qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I've been experimenting with the setup for this one. I just want to see if I can learn what the best methodology is going forwards with setup. I feel like you can do some quite similar things with the setup and be fast this year. At least that's what I've found versus, you know, other players on F1 2018. But still, the I don't know. It seems to be a little bit difficult up against the AI at the moment, which is very, very interesting. It seems like AI are more difficult to beat than some of my league races right now, which is absolutely incredible. And I definitely look forward to the challenge going forward as I improve on this game. But here we are for qualifying. The target is a 1:26.3. We do a 29.1, which is similar to what Charles Leclerc was doing in practice. But now we have an extra fuel mode to utilize. And when he has that as well, it's just not quite good enough. So we're a second off of Charles Leclerc. We can find another half a second, I think, at least, off that first banker time. So we'll go out again, and we'll see if we can improve on that. Charles has done 3 laps. We've only done 1 there, so yeah, he's taken quite a bit of life out of his tyres. But if we can just continue to find pace, hopefully the track evolves to a point where we're a bit more confident in the grip levels, and we can extract a bit more time out of the car. So second lap, you can see we're up by 1/10.5, but then we go in too deep into that middle sector left-hander, and that was that lap out the window. I decided to just cool things off, charge up the battery just a tiny bit before we go again. I think in hot lap mode, you've just got enough battery to do 2 flying laps in hot lap, and I just wanted to make sure we were safe to do that, because Bahrain's got a lot of straights, but it's also got a lot of braking zones, so I guess you can get away with charging the battery a little bit. Like, it'll charge the battery as you're driving along, but when you're in hot lap mode, it just absolutely sucks all the juice out of the car. And yeah, it's amazing how quickly you'll lose that battery, especially in a race scenario. If you leave it in hot lap and you just forget about it, boom, like, it's that could be race ending, or like a position ending kind of scenario there for you. But we did improve there, only just. I didn't actually see what the time was there. I was getting too caught up in the moment. For the final run, we're going to be increasing the downforce, just to see if that helps the situation a little bit in the middle sector. Seeing if we can, yeah, just get more out of the corners. I feel like maybe I could do a better job of rotating the car through slower corners. I do feel like there is a little bit of understeer, but that just could be the Sauber car in general, just lacking that downforce naturally. But I feel like we're already slow enough in a straight line, so I didn't want to increase the downforce too much. But you can see we marginally improve on our previous best, but the downforce and the added drag on the straight just meant that we lost that extra bit of time right on the final straight there. So in the end, it's last place on the grid, 3.3 seconds off pole on a 29.0. And I think overall, I don't think the change to the aero was a positive one. So it's back to the drawing board once again. Last place on the grid. We'll see what we can do with strategy, but in theory, this is going to be tough.
Tough luck there. It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
There's something in the Bahrain air tonight, and I'm not just talking about the sand. Our brightest minds have thrust their brightest ideas into the spotlight of the Scuderia circuit this evening, as we look ahead once more to a Grand Prix that has thrilled us so consistently in the past.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Thanks, Jeff. I like your enthusiasm. Let's hopefully carry that positive energy into this race. We're going to need a lot of positive energy from that battery, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, race strategy. What am I? It's 3 a.m. Come on. I'm sleep deprived, and I'm making videos for you guys. The puns are coming out now. But anyway, it looks like we're going to do a one-stop today, which is interesting. I'm quite keen to see how the tyre wear is going to be. We've lowered the front downforce as well, because it didn't seem to help us in qualifying. It's definitely not going to help us in the race when we need to overtake cars in a straight line. It's going to be very difficult. The game has given us 37 laps worth of fuel in a 29-lap race, so let's get rid of that quick smart and put it on about 33 laps and see how we go. It seems like the fuel burn on this game is quite light. You can run in rich for longer, and it doesn't seem to have as much of a drastic effect as what it did on the previous game, but I could be wrong. It could just be down to me focusing more on ERS modes more than I am the fuel, but it seems like you can get away with running rich more on this game, which is, I guess, a positive thing. But it's time for the race now. My teammate Charles Leclerc actually has a grid penalty, so we're indeed not starting from last place on the grid, but we'll see how long that lasts. 5 red lights, and away we go for the second race of our F1 2018 career mode. It's a pretty shocking start. Charles is going to get us off the line here. I try and squeeze him off to try and displace him from doing that, but to no avail. It did not work. We're going to try and go around the outside here at turn 1. It'll give us the inside for turn 2, and it's actually paid dividends up into P17. The guys on the right hand side were just kind of pinched behind each other and had no momentum, and we were just able to go clean around the outside. Now turn 4, that's really close between us and the Mercedes of Bottas. What's he doing down this far? Thanks, Jeff. But yeah, just almost wreck avoidance there. That wasn't really an overtake. I think I was overtaking one of the Williams, but it turned into like a 3-man overtake. And that is almost a crash with Bottas. So looks like the AI going really slow on this first lap. It seems like it's just as bad, if not worse. And maybe F1 2017 on the first lap for AIs going really slow. But I think there might be someone up ahead who's got some front wing damage. It seems to be a real big cluster and then a big gap to the next group of cars. So someone definitely has damage here. We'll go up the inside maybe again of Bottas. A bit of contact was made. Hopefully my front wing is fine. Running in simulation damage. So even the slightest bit of contact can make quite the difference. Up the inside of Bottas, he was really weak off of turns 2 and 3 there, and we make the most of it up into turn 4. Now he's coming back at us as we go through the run into the middle sector. I really want to hold this position, and we do so. Great start. So Bottas, terrible run up the inside. I think I went in a little bit too deep here. Bottas almost got me back here on the switchback on the softer compounded tyre. And in fairness, he probably could have got that move done, but he was just a little bit hesitant there with a rookie Sauber driver. Didn't quite know what he's capable of. And so he just decides to be patient. But he gets us back, and then we get him back again in the third sector. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's still up the inside there. That's a track extending warning as well. So we can't do that too many more times before getting a penalty. Again, Bottas gets us, and I think we should concede the position because that is a Mercedes after all. Sirotkin going for a dive up the inside into the final corner. So if the AI have the pace, if they have the straight line speed, and if they're just within striking distance into a braking zone, they will go for it, as you can see there from Sergei Sirotkin. So you're seeing a lot more overtakes on this career mode game, and that is simply down to the AI definitely being more aggressive, and as such we are being just as aggressive back straight up the inside into turn 1. Thank you very much. That's P14 once again. Here's the replay from the nose cam. Getting very close to losing our front wing on Bottas, and it was a bit of a tight squeeze getting around Sergei Sirotkin there. Just danced up the inside and held position once again. Bloody hell. The starts to these Grand Prix are awesome. I am loving the racing with the AI at the moment.
Ocon ahead. Gap to car in front is 0.9 seconds. You're dropping back by around 1.4 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 2 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1:35.1.
So I was just asking the engineer about Ocon because I suspect that he's got some damage, but he didn't say anything about it. But we're going to lunge him anyway up the inside into turn 1. We are really testing the brakes today. They must be absolutely on fire. The amount of load that we keep putting them under. They must be really, really stressed at this point of the Grand Prix. We've now got some clear air. Maybe we can cool out the brakes now that we don't have a car in front of us inducing that hot air onto us, so we can get on with our race. You can actually see we're going green as well to our best lap so far, 4/10 up into the middle sector split, but we're under pressure from Sergei Sirotkin in the Williams, no less. He is on the super soft tyres, to be fair, so technically he should be a little bit faster than us, but we're going to do our best. We're in rich. Hot lap mode is engaged as well. I think he's got DRS open, so that is allowing him to soar right past us. Going up the inside is Sirotkin. We try and do the switchback, but we lose the back end. Just a little bit too eager on the throttle. We go around the outside, and somehow we get that position. I don't know what Sorokin was playing at there. We should not have actually got that position given the back end loss that we just had. But lap 5 now, you can see there's a virtual safety car deployed. 2 cars up ahead are going slowly. Someone stopped in the middle of the track. That's Magnussen, who's lost his front right tyre. There must have been a crash with Sergio Perez there. You can see off in the background. The Force India's got an engine failure and swerves into Magnussen's path. Magnussen was not really clearing him by enough, but at the same token, Sergio should not have swerved across the track like that. He should have just pulled off to the right-hand side where there was, you know, he was pretty much there anyway, up against the white line. And he's just caused an unnecessary crash. I don't know how that's not a safety car, to be honest. Only the SC, but that allows some of the guys inside the top 10 who started on the super soft tyres to potentially do a stop. I saw a couple of cars in there, so they're definitely going to take full advantage of that. So that's not really going to help our race. It's too early for us to make a pit stop, so you have to stick it out for now. And anyone who just made a stop has just gained the best part of 10 seconds. And now look at this, 3 wide down the start-finish straight. That's Leclerc and Sorokin getting me at the same time, and 3 cars as well coming out of the pit lane. Alonso, Hulkenberg, and I don't know because I don't have that good of a vision. It's probably another Renault as well, to be fair, or maybe even a Red Bull, but yeah, just falling backwards a little bit. It's just like the straight line speed that's just setting us back here. I'm driving really, really well, but once the cars behind get in the slipstream, in the DRS, they just slip right past us, and there's not too much we can do to defend against that. But when we're in the slipstream, even of a Red Bull, we're able to... We could have actually overtaken Ricciardo there if we wanted to, but that's a Red Bull. It's not our fight, and getting involved in that kind of a battle at this point in the Grand Prix is only going to damage our race. So I decided to just hold it in behind him and just press on once he got past. So we're diving into the pits now for our first stop of the race, and we're going to go onto a set of medium tyres to run to the end. Surprisingly, tyre wear wasn't too bad. Doing a one-stop, or just any one-stop in general around Bahrain, you're normally stretching the tyres to the absolute limits, but I think we actually are going to get this done quite convincingly here. We've almost done half the race on the middle compound, and now we're going to switch to the hard compound, and going forward, these tyres should easily be able to make it to the end. So yeah, it looks like even a one-stop is probably possible on the super softs for the guys inside the top 10. So that's probably unfortunate for us. It looks like maybe strategy isn't going to fall our way today. Lap 15, we're chugging along as best we can. We overtake one of the Force Indias who makes their stop in the Grand Prix. We set our fastest lap so far on the fresh mediums, 1 minute 33.4. But still, as is the recurring theme around this Bahrain Grand Prix circuit, where I feel like we were just the slowest car out there. We were just constantly getting chased down by cars behind us, and again, that was the same thing that was happening now. This is Vandoorne diving up the inside into the final corner. Every time we got involved in a battle, it cost me so much time, and the people who were already in front of me were just getting away even further. So, pretty frustrating. I don't think we're going to get in the points today unless there is a lot of two-stoppers or there's a safety car and I just completely switch up the strategy and just put on a set of super softs. At this point, we are doomed to fail, I think, but we can have a bit of fun in the process. There's 11 laps to go. Vandoorne is going around the outside here into turn 1. Can't quite get the move done. Well, this is all for pride now at this point. We're just fighting for track position, making sure we hold on to as much as we can. Battling the fuel, not so much. It's more the battery. Just trying to manage that as best I can in some of these battles. I had to use a lot of my ERS deployment modes to kind of keep these guys at bay, but still it was working, but not so much. It wasn't the best deterrent in the world, and it got to a point where I just had to concede at some points. We had a little go at Vandoorne there, it wasn't on. Just didn't feel confident outbraking him into that point of the lap. But there you can see we had a major lag spike, and Lewis Hamilton is now out of the Grand Prix, so if we get lucky maybe with retirements we might be able to get in the points, but it doesn't look likely. So Lewis is out of the race. I don't know if he was leading, but he was certainly in the top 3, putting the pressure on the Ferraris. I know Sebastian Vettel is leading. But apart from that, I have absolutely no idea what's going on with the front guys. But anyway, 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix. This is Sorokin, the guy who it feels like we've been battling this entirety of the Grand Prix. He gets us once again, and we're going to see if we can dive him up the inside once again. Maybe get him back on the traction through turns 2 and 3. There's a bit of contact as well, which doesn't really favour too well for him. We're trying to squeeze him out, trying to deter him from maybe going around the outside here. This is where Alonso says, all the time you have to leave it a space, and I was certainly not in the mood to do that. My race was certainly going downhill there, but look at the tyre wear, only 40% on the worst tyre. That was the front left. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. If you followed my league racing on F1 2017, at Brazil, we pushed the tyre wear to like 75-80% before we get punctures. So, in reality, the tyre wear is not bad at all, but it just it seems like the associated lap time is not really there. But anyway, we got lapped by Sebastian Vettel. I can't believe I'm saying that. Getting lapped in an F1 race. This is not familiar territory with me. But this is the starting point, you know? Like, it's only up from here. Like, anyway, I can't get too involved in that. There's a huge scrap going on for P14 at the moment. We're going 3 wide on the start-finish straight. We just about managed to hold on to that position. The Force India and the Williams getting stuck into each other through turns 2 and 3 there. Look at this. This is just amazing racing with the AI. We try and just hold our ground, just try and get a nice exit, and it just worked for us. You'll see on board with Sorokin here. He gets too caught up with Ocon on the inside. They make contact, leave each other too much space, and then end up just making it awkward for each other. Just allowed me to get away, so that was really good for me there. But yeah, like I said, this is the low point of the career mode. This is the starting point. Like, if it's only up from here. There is absolutely no way. Oh my god. Raikkonen's out. Raikkonen has just tagged Sorokin. Here's the onboard. And it's just a similar case with the Sergio Perez crash. It was just the slower car kind of moving while the faster car was trying to overtake. That is, oh my goodness, that's taken 2 cars out of this Grand Prix now. I just can't believe it. Now we're going side by side with Esteban Ocon. This is the last lap of the Grand Prix because if you remember, we're lapped now. So this is our last lap. So once again, we find ourselves battling with Esteban Ocon the last lap of a Grand Prix. This time he's got the better of us again. And he's going to get P12 in this Bahrain Grand Prix. It didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because there's no points, but still, you want to finish as high up as you can just for pride. But like I said, this is the low point. It seems like this is a weak track for the Sauber. So hopefully from here, with developments, with upgrades, with improving of my driving style, we can put results like this behind us.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt.
So there we go, guys. That has been the Bahrain Grand Prix. Pretty big wake-up call, isn't it? Just to see how difficult it is at the start of the career mode with the backmarker team, learning the car, learning the handling model, trying to adjust the setup on the fly. We really have our work cut out for us. Outraced, out-qualified by our teammates, so there is a lot of improving to do. But I really do look forward to the challenge of trying to up my game every single episode, try and learn new things when it comes to this game, and eventually the goal is we'll be world champion. Hopefully we're at least equal to the task of beating our teammate by the time we get to a position where the car is able to win the championship. Otherwise that'll look pretty embarrassing, losing the championship to your teammates. But in the end it is P12 and P13 in the drivers for Sauber and 8th in the constructors. Good in the end there that at least Charles was able to get points for us, so it does show that there is potential. It was just a bit of a letdown from me, in all honesty.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. You were cutting your way through the field during the race. Do you have any comments about the collisions?
Now with this question, I was actually rushed and didn't get to do the right answer that I wanted to in the end, so that was that.
It must be gutting to miss out on a podium due to penalties. Do you think it was the right call by the officials?
Podium? Penalties? Were you watching the same race that I was?
Great, well that's everything.
Thanks, Claire. Maybe next time do a bit more research. You're interviewing Benjamin Daly, not... I don't know. I honestly don't know. What other team would be challenging for podiums apart from Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari? Maybe you got me confused with Bottas. I don't know. But guys, that's been this episode for today. 1,300 resource points. We're actually going to upgrade the car again at the end of this episode. So keep an eye out for that. We passed the kind of short-term objective of scoring 2 championship points. So that's a bonus of 400 resource points. That is definitely going to help in upgrading the car. Someone asked me in the last episode like what the whole morale means in terms of the upgrade departments. Basically, if you slag off your team with certain areas of the car, like they will feel demotivated, or if you say like the straight line speed was really good today, they'll get motivated by that, and your interviews will affect the pricing of the upgrade. So it can be like 1 or 2% cheaper. Like here you can see for the chassis, it's 8% cheaper, and the failure chance has been reduced by 4%, just all because we said good things about the chassis. So guys, really think about what you say in these podium interviews, because if you're saying the wrong things, if you want to upgrade certain parts of the car and you just constantly, you know, bad-mouthing the team, it's going to hurt you. But judging by that, sometimes the interviewer will throw the question to you and you have no choice but to slag off a certain part of the car or your team in general. So it's a bit of a minefield. Make sure you perform, make sure you do well, and those issues won't head your way. Hopefully we can put in a good one in the next one and give our development teams a bit of a morale boost going forward for the rest of the season. But guys, I'm loving this career mode so far. There's so much depth, there's so much to it. We're only at the tip of the iceberg at the moment, and the challenge is as hard as it's ever been. So I'm really looking forward to getting in with the grind, improving this car, improving myself, and hopefully the results will show. The next episode is the Chinese Grand Prix. Bit of a weak track for me, but hopefully it can be one that suits the car. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching. Smash your like button if you enjoyed. And again, subscribe to the channel to see plenty more F1 2018 content. And hopefully tomorrow I'm not up until 4 AM commentating. So we'll have to wait and see. Until tomorrow, enjoy the videos, and I'll see you again for career mode and other gameplay stuff. Goodbye.